Hello, how are you doing today? We are going to talk about prioritizing your law practice. No matter how busy you feel, no matter how overwhelmed or behind you feel, I want to give you a tool. I get so many lawyers who work with me who come to me who don't use calendars or have a very basic calendar where they just have their hearings on it, and they tell me they're so overwhelmed, they don't know how to prioritize. They believe that everything is due all at once, right? I can relate because 16 years ago, when I was starting my legal career as a criminal prosecutor, we had hearings, briefs, trials. We just had to put it all on the calendar and we had to figure it out. And when I started thinking about how I could help my clients really prioritize quicker if they've never used a calendar before, if they came to me and they didn't know anything about how to manage their time, I thought of this technique that I'm going to share with you. And it is a technique that is something that is very simple. And it's something that I wouldn't recommend that you continue doing forever. This is a stopgap. This is where you start when you have a, 70 caseload. You have 70 matters on your caseload and you are just at your wit's end. This is a starting point. What I want you to do after I show you this technique is then implement systems. I'm going to talk to you about what those systems might look like, and then I'm going to talk to you about the Busy Lawyer's Ultimate Time Management Guide that you have to download. Go to dinacataldo.com/busy lawyer to download that guide, because that guide is going to be helping you moving forward. So here's step one. This is what I would do if I were going to start all over again, if I had my 70 matters on my caseload, which I know is really common, especially with criminal attorneys, and you need to think about what is coming ahead and you feel overwhelmed. I would get like 3 wall calendars, maybe around this size, okay? I would put them back to back. So you'd have March, April, May, and you would be able to see everything laid out. I know a lot of you have your hearings written out and you don't have any other tasks written out. So the very first thing I want you to do is I want you to go through each calendar and I want you to write out when you have hearings due. Like, when are those hearings going to be? When are your trial dates going to be? And then you're going to go through and you're going to write down when are your briefs due. And I would do this in different colors just so that your brain can see it and register it quickly. Do you have depositions? Write those depositions down. And then once you have all of your hearings down and all your depositions down and all your briefs down and your trials, you're going to want to look at your trial dates and you're going to want to estimate how long you think that trial might take. I know trials don't always go, they get continued, but you just want to have an idea of what's going on that week. Are there hearings you're going to have to continue? Are there briefs that are due that you're going to have to give yourself a little bit more time the week before to work on? You want to have an idea of what your overall calendar looks like so that you can start planning ahead. Now, once you've done that step, you want to go through and you want to look at each hearing. Are there witnesses that you need to subpoena? Is there preparation that you need to do? You're going to write on your calendar, preparation. How long do you think preparation is going to take? An hour, 2 hours? What do you need to do? When do you need to have those subpoenas in? Do they need to be done 2 weeks in advance? Do they need to be done 1 week in advance? You're going to write that on your calendar. So if you have a hearing if you have a hearing on the 17th and you need to subpoena witnesses, you're going to go 2 weeks back maybe and then write down, okay, sub witnesses for the 17th hearing. So you want to be able to just like look at your calendar and have this bird's eye view of everything that needs to get done. Same thing with a trial date. When do you need to write motions in limine? If you have a depo, when do you need to do discovery? When do you need to send out all of the discovery requests? What is it that you need to do? You put it on this calendar. Now, once you have this bird's eye view, you're going to start putting it onto your calendar of choice. So what I often see is that lawyers will just put hearings on their calendar. You don't want to do that. You want to know everything that's going on in your caseload. You're going to feel so much more in control. You are going to be able to remind your brain on the weekends, it's okay, I have it on the calendar, I know that it's due, and I've given myself plenty of time, so you'll be able to calm yourself on the weekend and not think about work. So this is step one. You want to like lay this all out. Step two is then putting it onto a calendar. Now, if you don't have time for that, that's okay. You don't have to. But here's what I want you to do moving forward. I want you to begin putting everything on your calendar. I just use Google Calendar. It doesn't even matter what kind of calendar you use. You just want to be able to know what is what. And you want one single calendar so that you're not moving from calendar to calendar and missing something, right? You want to be able to see it all. And one of the things that I will recommend is when you download that Busy Lawyer's Guide, that you start to think about your week in advance, right? And when you get a new file, this is the step I want to share with you. Whenever you get a new file, if it has a depot on it, you're going to go into your calendar, you're going to calendar the depot, and then you're going to count backwards. When are you going to put the discovery requests? Are there subpoena requests? Are there letters that need to be sent out? You're going to put that on your calendar. You're going to allocate time for it. There's going to be a block when you have a brief and you need to write your brief. When you get a file in and there's a brief, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go into your calendar. When is the brief due? And then you're going to count backwards, say 2 weeks, and say, all right, well, I need to schedule some time for research, then writing, and then I need to talk to somebody, and I'm probably going to need to call my client. So you need to put all of that on your calendar and break it down. When you do, things are going to become so much simpler. I wish I had this technique 15 years ago. I mean, we really just went in and yeah, we put the basics on there. We put the hearing due, we know that a brief's due, but we really weren't taught. I mean, it seems so self-explanatory, right? When I say it out loud, we really weren't taught to just like count back a few days and how much time am I going to need? Let me estimate how much time I'm going to need to write this brief, do the research. Now, for those of you, which I can hear you sometimes, but I don't know how to estimate. I have no idea. It's always different time. Here's the thing. You've got to learn to practice estimating in order to get good at it. It doesn't just happen. You can estimate that the research is going to take about an hour and a half, right? You could just estimate that. You could just decide, okay, I'm going to do this and leave yourself a little bit of space, right? I talk about that in the Busy Lawyer's Ultimate Time Management Guide and how to do that. So I'm not going to go through that here. You can download the guide at dinacataldo.com/busy lawyer. But if you are in the driver's seat here, if you are the one who is actively putting things on your calendar, actively deciding how long things are going to take, actively estimating and practicing this, you are going to feel so much more confident when you walk into your workday. You're not going to feel like you're going insane, like everything's due at once, because you know not everything is due at once. You have it on your calendar. You know exactly what needs to get done today. And this is such a great starting point for you if you feel really busy in your practice, like you're really behind. I want you to grab these kinds of calendars and you can just draw one out and then start putting everything you need to do on this calendar, and then start walking yourself back and notating what needs to get done on what day. This is going to simplify your life. Make it happen. You can do this. This is not something that's brain science, right? Like I really made it simple for you here, and you can do this. Download the Busy Lawyer's Guide. You can get it at the link in the comments. And this is going to take your practice to the next level in terms of organization. All right, my friend. Oh, and one more thing I want to recommend for you is if you don't already have it, make a template for yourself. This is the very first step you want to do. If you have cases like trials or ones that have depots or ones that don't have any of that going on, you want to create checklists for yourself. I know a lot of lawyers have these, but not enough lawyers have these. It's going to simplify everything for you, and it is going to help you put the things on the calendar that need to get done. And if you have an assistant, all the better, because they can go into the files and they can put those dates on the calendar for you. They can put those dates on the checklist for you too. All right, my friend, I hope you have a fabulous day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.